All right, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we saw that support at 48.5 in the overnight session ended up being the inflection point and starting of a pretty decent upside move. And we got a push up to 66 quarter to 68 quarter, which is today's initial resistance zone. And as I covered in yesterday's plan, when I was talking about that zone, which was 65 to 67 yesterday, was that the key is going to be how well ES holds up on the pullback to the 61 to 63 area, to the micro bull bear zone. And, if buyers can then hold ES above the micro bull bear zone, that would tell us that there is some decent strength in this market. And, we could be looking at a bigger move to the upside. So right now, ES has already tested initial resistance in the overnight session, and 68 quarter is the level that started the downside move on Tuesday. So this is a very key area that's being tested right now, and if we break above it, that would confirm that the buy side is in control. Now we can still get sellers active at the resistance zones above, so it does call for some caution up here. It's not that we break 68 quarter and then we just start buying at very aggressive prices. There is potential for a decent move now up to 76 if we can get above 68 quarter, if we can clear 71 half, but these are still valid areas of resistance. And, I still feel that given how weak the market was, we were oversold short term and we were coming into a very key support area, so a bigger bounce makes sense. And we also discussed the idea of potential for an end of trend and a decent move back to the upside. So far that whole scenario is playing out, but my concern is that ES may have moved too quickly back up, and now is it still worth buying? Right? I mean, it was a good long at support, but is it still a good long up here? And I don't feel that's the case. I think that at these resistance zones that we're trading at right now, it's a bit risky to enter long, and that's why we're going to be patient off the open, and we're going to watch how the zone gets treated, and then we can still get a pullback from here down to 61 quarter, 63 quarter, micro bull bear zone. If you're shorting the zone, then that is a potential profit target on the downside. And then we'll see how well the buyers hold up ES again at the micro bull bear zone. If we break that, we'll look for a long setup at initial support, 56.5 to 58.5. And, if the market's really strong, maybe even the micro bull bear zone could work out as a decent long entry. That's something we'll have to gauge in real time, but that is a important inflection point in the market, and holding above it would tell us that buyers are maintaining control, and we could see some higher prices. So it's a bit of a complicated context today, not as simple as yesterday or Tuesday. So we do have to be careful up here. In the event that we break above on some decent momentum, 76 to 78 is a possibility today, right? I don't know whether it's really high odds. That's going to depend on just the type of momentum that the buyers can carry off the open. But if it gets to 76, 78, that will be a major upside target off of a oversold bounce from a decent support area, which was 38.5 to 40.5. 76, 78 would be a major upside objective. So we will look to short that zone first test. And in most scenarios, that's an automatic short on first test. We'll look for at least a rotation back down to the 70 to 71 area. And, even back to 66 to 68 is very possible. And so, it's pretty decent risk reward at 76, 78. It's a good trade location. And, of course, every trade has a chance of not working. But, I think it's worth the risk to short the 76 to 78 zone if we get up there. Now, in the event that we fail over here at initial resistance or at 70 to 71.5 and then break initial resistance on the way down, we can still expect buyers to be active now on pullbacks into support. So we can still look for long setups on pullbacks into support, whether it's the micro bull bear zone or initial support. The safe setup is initial support. The slightly more aggressive one is micro bull bear zone. But if the market is truly strong, then the bull bear zone should hold. So that's something we're going to have to gauge in real time. How strong is this market? If you watch the other markets, NQTF, in NQ we have resistance at 75 to 78 quarter, and then above that we have resistance around the 89 area. So, as NQ is testing those resistance zones, if ES also happens to be at resistance, that can increase the odds of some rotation and a pullback. Now on the downside, initial support, we'll look for a long setup. If we break below that, we have the prior VPOC at 52.5, and we have some decent volume around the 54 area as well. So we can also consider a potential long at those levels. And then finally, I don't think we're going to stage a complete reversal on the way down, but the 46.75 to 48.75 first test would be a good spot to look for a bounce and a long setup as well. But right now, given the decent upside move, I'm thinking that it's really going to be about how we react at initial resistance, and we can still get a balanced session. And the main question we're going to be answering is, where can ES balance, right? If we break above 68 quarter on any momentum, then perhaps the balancing will occur between initial resistance and the 76.78. And if we fail here or at 70.71.5, then perhaps we can balance between the initial support zone and the 70.71, something like that. So we're still looking for a more of a two-sided market, because a lot of the move has already happened in the overnight session. We could see a narrower range on the day time frame, because so much of the range has already taken place. So let's be aware of that as well. There might not be as much opportunity in the market today. So be selective on trade location, on the trades that you're entering. And I think today it is going to be about just identifying the 2 or 3 good setups and just executing those, rather than being overly aggressive and overly active in the market. So be patient. Let's see how we react at this off the open, and then take it from there.